Let's take your 2D drawing and turn it into a 3D sculpture out of clay. So this is your drawing that you took from the Hawaiian garden. Remember, it's really important that you observed all of the details, including the veins. If you didn't, remember I have those pictures where you can make some adjustments to your drawing. Also, we wanted a drawing that's about as big as our hand, so yours may hopefully be around that size. Some of you have already done this first step, and if so, we're going to scoot ahead. Our goal is now to take our paper from our drawing and transfer it onto this tracing paper. So when I put it over my drawing, it's okay that those words are there. I can't see it very well, so you might have to go back first and darken all of these lines, either with a pencil or even with a Sharpie, because now when I put it over, I want to be able to see those lines. So do that first. Notice how my main vein is thicker than the other veins that aren't as thick. This main vein here that goes through the kalo is thick, so I made to show that here with these lines. Now, if you are in Kumu Namba's class, your next step is going to be to put the tracing paper over the top and to trace directly with this special pencil Mrs. Snyder will give you, a charcoal pencil. If you are in Kumu Abdul's class, you have already done the pencil with the tracing paper, so your first step is to trace over all of those lines again with this charcoal pencil. We want to push nice and dark, not that we break it, but hard enough that when we put it onto our clay, it's going to transfer the lines. So do that now, going over your lines with your charcoal pencil. Remember, this is my tracing paper, and we use the charcoal pencil, not a regular pencil, to trace over these lines. Next step is going to be to cut it out. When I cut out my drawing, I want to make sure it transfers, or I cut to the outside of the charcoal line, because I want this charcoal line to appear when I put it on my clay. So make sure that you cut on the outside of your charcoal so we can still see your charcoal all the way around. Mrs. Snyder will give you a slab, which is a flat piece of clay, that matches about the same size as your leaf. Your job is to not poke it, to take your leaf drawing. Which side do I want to put down so that I can transfer my charcoal? You're right, the charcoal side needs to go down, so I'm going to lay it down on my clay, and I'm just going to rub it. That's all I have to do. I don't have to pound on it. Just like when we did printmaking, we're going to rub all over, including along the edges, because my goal is to get the charcoal to transfer to the clay. As I'm looking at my drawing, I realized I forgot something. Can you tell what I forgot? I forgot my name. Okay, I rubbed it really well. Use maybe my fingernail to help pull it off. See if it worked. Ooh, can you see my drawing? I made sure to put my name and my teacher's name on the back of my drawing because I want to keep this, save it for later in case something goes wrong, and also so I can match the size of my middle vein. You'll see that part in a minute. Now we have our design here onto the slab. We're going to be using this tool, a needle tool. The needle tool's job is to cut the clay. It is not for poking or anything else, so make sure you are being your best self and being responsible and safe with this tool. You are only going to be cutting around the outside of our clay. We're not cutting inside, only cutting out the shape of the outside. Think of it like a scissors. We have to start on the outside edge, and we're going to cut in, and then we're just going to carefully drag the tool around. It's easier if you take out little pieces as you go that we get cut away, kind of like a puzzle. So then I'm going to keep going, cut out this piece. It shouldn't all come out in one big piece. Oh no, I'm in the dark.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm going to continue cutting in little pieces. Remember, it's easy to start from the outside, cut in and along that outside line. So I have all these pieces here. I want to keep one piece that's kind of long because I'm going to be keeping a scrap for the vein of my leaf. So I make sure I have at least one pretty long piece. Okay, so I have my piece cut out just around the outside. Am I going to cut on these lines? No, just along the outside. Then I'm also going to cut off a long scrap that I'm going to be able to save for making my vein. I'll save that for later. My job now, boys and girls, is to take my fingers and smooth the edge of this. When this clay dries, I don't have to put any water, I'm just using my finger. When this clay dries, if there's anywhere that has a piece that's kind of sticking out from where I cut, it will become very, very sharp. So my job is to go all the way around and just round my edges of my piece. All the way around. See how I'm making the edges being not square anymore, but more rounded. I'm not pushing on the clay, I don't want to flatten it. I'm just making the edges smooth. Okay, I don't need to do that to this piece because we're going to be cutting it further. Now my job is to put this piece on top. Take my drawing, put it on top so Mrs. Snyder can see my name, and I am done, and I'm going to wait for directions to clean up.